Hey, future IAS officers. You know how important current affairs are for your UPSC exams.
Right.
So today we're diving into something super relevant for both prelims and mains. India's proposed overseas mobility bill.
Oh, yeah. This is big. This could replace a law that's been around for over 40 years, the Emigration Act of 1983.
Wow, 1983. That's like ancient history in the world of globalization and the internet.
Exactly. The world of work has completely changed since then, and India's approach to overseas employment really needs an upgrade.
We're basing this deep dive on a really insightful article from the Indian Express, and it does a great job of explaining why this change is so important.
Yeah.
The old 1983 Act just doesn't work in today's world.
Yeah, it's like trying to use a rotary phone in the age of smartphones.
Huh, I love that analogy. So true. So can you break it down for our listeners? What are the main limitations of this 1983 Act?
Well, for starters, it doesn't really offer structured ways for people to find overseas employment, and the welfare measures for Indian immigrants are seriously lacking.
Right, it's like sending people out on a boat without a life vest.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why we've seen a rise in irregular migration, which unfortunately often leads to exploitation and fraud.
It's risky. It's like navigating a jungle without a map.
You got it. And this is something that the Shashi Tharoor-led parliamentary committee has been highlighting. They've been pushing for reform for a while now, calling for a more modern approach to migration.
It sounds like this proposed overseas mobility bill is a direct response to those concerns. What's the gist of it? What's it trying to do?
It's got a lot of features designed to create a safer and more orderly way for people to work overseas.
So things like more opportunities for public input and awareness campaigns.
Yeah. And a bigger role for the protector of immigrants, plus stronger ways to address grievances.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. Instead of just saying the bill strengthens the role of the protector of immigrants, what does that actually mean for an Indian worker who runs into trouble overseas? How would this bill actually help them?
Imagine you're in a foreign country and your employer is mistreating you, or you have some legal issue. Under the old system, the protector of immigrants couldn't really do much. They had limited power.
So they were like a toothless watchdog.
Kind of. This new bill wants to give them more bite, more power to actually intervene and help Indian workers abroad.
That's a huge relief for those considering working abroad. It's like knowing you have someone in your corner, even when you're far from home. But the article also mentioned something about U.S. deportations. It said something like 20,000 undocumented Indians could be sent back under the Trump 2.0 administration. How does the overseas mobility bill fit into that situation?
That's a crucial point, and it really shows why this new law is so important. By making it easier for people to migrate legally, the bill wants to reduce the number of Indians who end up in these risky situations abroad.
So it's about creating safer pathways instead of forcing people to take dangerous shortcuts.
Precisely. It's all about giving people clear and legal ways to work overseas, which hopefully means fewer people will end up facing deportation.
Yeah, it's like having a safety net for those who are already out there working in other countries.
A safety net, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just about stopping bad things from happening, but also about helping people when things do go wrong.
Exactly. And to do that, the bill wants to strengthen Indian embassies and consulates abroad. Give them more resources and make them better at supporting Indian migrants.
So if someone's having problems with their employer or needs legal help, the embassy or consulate can step in and help them.
Yeah, it's about being proactive, making sure our citizens have support no matter where they are in the world.
This is great news for anyone thinking about working abroad. It's like having backup even when you're miles away from home.
That's the idea. Now, for all you aspiring global citizens out there, what are the key takeaways from this bill? How could it change your experience if you decide to work overseas?
I'd love to know too. Okay. Well, one of the biggest things is better protection from exploitation. You know those shady recruitment agencies that often take advantage of people who want to work abroad?
Oh, yeah, those guys.
Well, this bill wants to crack down on them, make the whole recruitment process safer and more transparent.
That's a game changer for so many people. It's about fairness, making sure everyone has a real chance to pursue their dreams.
That's right. And don't forget about the improved support systems we talked about earlier. If you're having problems with your employer, need legal help, or just need some advice, this bill wants to make sure you can get the support you need.
It's like having a guardian angel looking after you, even when you're far away from home. So this bill sounds really promising. But the Indian Express article also mentions something about its potential impact on India's economy. What kind of economic effects could this have?
The potential is huge. I mean, just think about remittances. That's a massive source of income for India.
Right. Billions of dollars every year.
Exactly. And this bill could lead to even more remittances. By making migration safer and easier, more people will feel comfortable sending money back home.
So that's a direct boost to the Indian economy.
Yeah.
More money flowing back into the country.
Right. It helps with growth and development. And it's not just about the money, it's also about India's global standing.
You mean its reputation on the world stage?
Yeah. It's about showing the world the potential of India's workforce and making India a key player in the global labor market.
So by helping skilled professionals work abroad, India can gain a stronger reputation and maybe even create new economic partnerships.
Absolutely. It's a win-win. But of course, there are some potential downsides too. We have to be realistic about that.
Like what? What are some of the challenges or risks?
Well, one big challenge is making sure the bill actually works in practice.
Mhm.
Making sure it reaches all the people who need it and that it's enforced properly.
So implementation is key. That makes sense. What else?
Another concern is brain drain. The idea that skilled professionals might go abroad and never come back.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. That could lead to a shortage of talent in India.
Right. So it's crucial to have ways to encourage those professionals to come back to India after they've gained experience overseas. Maybe offer incentives or create programs that focus on developing skills here at home.
It's about finding a balance,
Right.
making it easier for people to work abroad, but also making sure India benefits from their skills and experience.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really interesting question for all of you listeners. With the way work is changing all the time, with things like remote work and digital nomadism becoming more popular, how do you think India's migration policies should adapt to keep up with these changes?
It's a tough question, but it's something that future policymakers like yourselves will have to grapple with. So put on your thinking caps and share your ideas in the comments below.
We'd love to hear your perspectives. And hey, while you at it, if you found this deep dive useful for your UPSC prep, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We've got tons more analysis and insights on current affairs coming your way.
Definitely hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any future episodes. Okay, let's wrap up today's deep dive with a quick recap. We started by talking about the old Immigration Act from way back in 1983.
Right, which is clearly showing its age. It's just not equipped to handle the complexities of migration in the 21st century.
And then we talked about the proposed Overseas Mobility Bill, which is designed to address those challenges and create a much safer and more structured system for Indians who want to work abroad.
And we talked about how urgent this is, especially with the rise in U.S. deportations. This bill could really make a difference in protecting Indian workers overseas.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the economic benefits. Increased remittances, stronger global presence for India, improved diplomatic relations. It's a big deal.
It's about empowering Indian workers and helping India thrive on the global stage.
Exactly. And remember, all of this was based on a fantastic article from the Indian Express. We'll put a link to it in the description below so you can dive into the details yourself.
Definitely give it a read. It's worth your time.
All right, folks. That's it for today's deep dive. Keep those brains buzzing, and we'll see you in the next one.